Time loops. To be fair, I'm a little shocked this concept hasn't been completely beaten to death before this year. King Nintendo, who holds the trophy for deceased equine flogging, championed the time loop concept back in 2000 with the release of Majora's Mask, one of the few squirts of genuine originality to come out of the company before they replaced all independent thought with Mario Face number machines. So it's wild to see this horse still riding steady, if not tired, from outrunning the indie market. And while there are plenty of games that have hit on this concept, Deathloop is one of the few games to do it with a solid AAA backing. So, is it a concept of ingenuity and creative thinking that AAA is using its money to take a risk on? Or is it another idea that sees with committee-ran, safe, sellable ideas that runs more like an advertised gimmick than an original creation? Deathloop is a first-person shooter that takes place on Black Reef Island, a mysterious island with a giant microphone-looking thing on it that resets the day in an infinite loop because of wibbly-wobbly time magic. Maybe it's powered by the TARDIS, who knows? You play Colt Vaughn, boringly named yet immaculately voiced security enforcer for the island, who's decided he's tired of waking up on the beach with a hangover from the previous night's debauchery and decides to take the moral high ground and end the time loop. He achieves said moral superiority by viciously murdering the 8 leaders of the island over and over again until he's able to defeat them all in one run of the loop. The game takes place in 4 separate locations on the island over 4 times of day. Breakfast, second breakfast, 11Z's luncheon, afternoon tea, morning, noon, later noon, and night. You get a free romp to rain terror over one of the mini map locations per previously listed determined times, slaughtering mass goons and attempting to discover ways to manipulate the timeline in your favor. The maps aren't huge in the sense of most open world games, but they're large enough that it'll take you a few playthroughs to discover most of the secret areas, side quests, extra stuffs, audios, and fucking text logs. Jesus titty fucking Christ, can we stop with the fucking logs already? What, did y'all get sad that J.K. Rowling got canceled and hire her to write all your fucking exposition because you were too lazy to put it in the story yourself? This is an area where the game fails miserably. Despite the incessant hand-holding at times, which we will talk on more later, the game does an exceptionally terrible job of bringing the lore of the world as a whole across. While many games rely too heavily on telling rather than showing, many aspects of the key story are left to be uncovered by halting the progress of the game and making you read some chat between 2 cunts that I would much rather just kill than read their damn Facebook Messenger. So many questions go unanswered if you just don't stop to take the time of day to read these damn things and find out what's going on. Who built the giant microphone? Why are these specific 8 twats in charge? Why can only me and the bitch that wants to kill me remember what happens from each loop and no one else can? At least her being our daughter gets appropriately explained via dialogue between the two, despite the very Luke and Leia-esque reference beforehand to her being a possible previous side piece, if you will, when main man Colt is trying to remember stuff at the beginning. Oh yeah, besides you, there's this chick who hates you and tries to kill you by sending copies of herself after you in a very cut, copy-pasted world invasion mechanic made famous by the Souls games. And unless you remember to turn it off, occasionally spoiled shitstick 69420 will invade your game and run your shit because the invader can stack weapons and buffs faster than the story player can, pretend he's NPC goon number 394 long enough for you to think you're stealthing past them, and then go, surprise, and ram a giant death dick in your ear. If all of this is making you think I hate this game, though, you would be wrong. It was surprisingly well-polished at release, which I have to give praise to in this day and age, despite well-polished needing to be the baseline for a day one release. And like I said before, the writing and voice actors are fucking brilliant. It seemed every single time I stepped out of the tunnels into a new run, there's a whole new set of banter between Colt M16A2 and implied incestual desires assassin lady. And it made me look forward to listening to them go at it. Kind of like being a nosy roommate to Johnny Depp when Amber Heard is visiting. But like Charles Manson on an acid trip, it is terribly unbalanced. At the beginning, you have few abilities and weapons that you pick up at the start of each loop. And when you die, you start all over. So there's this very real, desperate struggle to stay out of combat until you can equip yourself with some stronger stuff. But very quickly, you gain the ability to carry weapons and powers over through the various loops, and it just goes downhill from there. Once I got a one-shot rifle that could drop anybody from any distance and the social networking ability that lets you do to all what you do to one, The game was essentially over. I'd kick down the door to a giant room filled with goons and drop them all in one shot. Kind of like how that one dude killed half of Europe in the early 1900s when he shot that one archduke, just with more satisfaction and less PTSD. Not only that, but one of the things that worked in Majora's Mask's favor was that you had to figure out what to do next. The game dumped you a puzzle and you had to figure out how to put it together. This game, however, sorts the pieces for you into little piles, and then once you put all the little pieces together, it handholds you on how to assemble all those pieces into the complete puzzle. This game puts key plot points in fucking book logs, yet makes the characters state the most obviously points of the game in cutscene dialogue. I did not need the game to tell me how to finally make all 8 goons be dead in one run. I figured it out before the game railroaded me to the fucking conclusion. Looking back, why did I fucking like this game? Holy shit. Maybe these are all just little things that irk me in the end in retrospect. But long story short, it is a really fun game. The main character is likable, if not a little slow at times, and the combat is fast and fun, and the powers you accumulate make you feel like a fucking god, and will have you riding high all the way up until the ending. Because, spoiler warning, it's shit. It'd be like if Return of the Jedi had just abruptly ended after Darth Vader threw the Emperor to his death. No other plot resolution, no story threads tied up, just a bunch of disappointment and questions like, what now? Did everyone survive the loop or just me? Are we ever going to address that this man definitely made comments about banging his own daughter?